Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. SEC Chairman Gensler indicated that he'd be open to considering a Bitcoin futures ETF before he would consider an ETF that holds Bitcoin directly, or what we call spot ETF. Joining me to discuss is Michael Sonnenshein, CEO of Grayscale Investments. Michael, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me back. Great to see you too.
You got it. And Michael, it's interesting because Grayscale almost never opines on regulatory developments. Why are you compelled to comment on this?
Well, Jill, I think if you zoom out and you think about what Grayscale's engagement has been like with regulators, we have been working proactively with the SEC dating back to 2016. Our flagship product, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, became the first SEC reporting company that was a digital currency instrument. And we have certainly been having a front row seat to the development of the crypto ecosystem, as well as a ton of engagement with the SEC and other regulators. And so I think Chairman Gensler's comments recently have been really taken constructively by the community and signals that perhaps the chairman and his staff are resolved on some of their previous concerns that they had cited with Bitcoin. Now, while that is certainly encouraging, what we wanted to really call out was the fact that we want to ensure that a level playing field is made around crypto or Bitcoin specific ETPs. And that's to say that a Bitcoin futures or a Bitcoin spot ETP are both going to derive their pricing from the same or exact same sources. And we want to ensure that if the SEC is moving towards Bitcoin futures ETPs, that they also allow products like Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, ticker GBTC, to also convert to be an ETF and really let investors choose whether or not a spot-based product or a futures-based product is really the right way for them to get crypto exposure in their portfolios.
Michael, why do you think that they lean more towards futures versus spot Bitcoin? It would seem to me that when you have derivatives as the underlying in an ETF, that could be not, I wouldn't say more risky, but there's a whole other element that is involved with futures. It could potentially be, well, it is more costly.
Yes, indeed. You're totally right about that. A lot of analysts have looked at the cost of rolling the future contracts inside a Bitcoin futures ETP and estimate that it could be costing investors as much as 10+% on an annual basis. But if you really drill into the chairman's commentary, he suggests that there are perhaps some added protections built into the 1940 Act products, the legislation under which the futures ETFs would register. And that's things like an independent board and some stricter compliance policies and procedures. But there's certainly nothing that prevents those same policies and procedures or even independent board from overseeing a 33 Act fund, which is the way that a spot or physically backed Bitcoin product would register with the SEC.
Right, and Michael, GBTC, of course, has been, the proxy for the most part for people who are looking to get into Bitcoin trading. Will this impact GBTC holders at all?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why we're being proactive here, not just in our dialogues with the SEC, but we also want to call out the fact that there are tens of billions of dollars invested in GBTC today. And we want to ensure that it has the ability to register as an ETF, just the same way that a futures ETF could come to the market. GBTC is held directly by investors, but it's also held inside other ETFs that want crypto exposure as part of their allocations, inside mutual funds, inside retirement accounts. And so again, we wouldn't want it to have an unfair advantage with respect to the evolution that this product has been taking.
And at the end of the day, is this good for Bitcoin and the crypto space overall? I think the fact that regulators are taking a deeper dive into it kind of lends to the legitimacy.
I think that's a good takeaway, Jill. I think a lot of engagement with the SEC, certainly from industry participants like Grayscale, has really demonstrated that although crypto is a small market compared to some of the other markets they're responsible for overseeing, that they are highly engaged, they want to stay ahead of the trends, they want to make sure that they're being educated, and they are working proactively with folks like us.
All right, Michael, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.